Hey guys, it is MattySports back again, bringing you my Week 10 predictions of the 2013 college football season. Last week in Week 9, I went 8-2, but unfortunately my upset special was incorrect as USC did end up beating Utah, so I'm 4-5 on upset specials, but I went 8-2 overall, and the other game that I missed was South Carolina and Missouri. South Carolina made a fourth quarter comeback with Connor Shaw and was able to win it in overtime. So that was a pretty good game. But 8-2, not bad. If I would have gone both those games, I would have gone 10-0. If Missouri would have hung on, I would have had my best record of the year of going 9-1 in a week. But that's in the past. Now we're into Week 10, so I have 10 more games for you. So let's get things started with a top 25 matchup and a rivalry game of number 21 Michigan traveling on the road to Michigan State. Now, I like Michigan in this game because I think they played better opponents so far this year, and I like the speed of Michigan over Michigan State. And although Michigan State does have a really good defense, I think somehow Michigan's offense will power through, and I'll see Michigan winning this in a slight upset traveling on the road. I'll take the Wolverines in this game. Next up, we have Navy traveling on the road to Notre Dame. This one's kind of an easy game. Navy's kind of struggled a little bit this year. Notre Dame has had its own struggles, but it's kind of starting to bounce back. I'll take Notre Dame at home. It's a pretty simple game for me to pick. Next up, we have a rivalry game of Georgia versus Florida in Jacksonville, and the world's largest cocktail party, all that. Now, both these teams came into the season ranked in the top 10. Now they come into this game unranked. Both teams are unranked, so this game doesn't have that much significance even for the SEC East race because Georgia and Florida are kind of already out of it. More so between South Carolina and Missouri. So this game's more so for bragging rights and for better positioning for a bowl game at the end of the season. So that's all this game pretty much has to offer. But it is a rivalry game. Georgia's won the past 2 years, and I see Georgia making it a 3-year win streak. I'll take the Bulldogs over the Gators. Both teams are pretty heavily injured, but I'll take Aaron Murray as the quarterback to lead Georgia's offense through Florida's defense, so I'll take the Bulldogs. Next up, we have a Big Ten matchup of two previously ranked top 25 teams of Northwestern traveling on the road to Nebraska. Now, Nebraska came off of an upset loss against Missouri. They lost that game. Bo Pelini, of course, you knowing him, got mad. And Northwestern, they've just been on a drought. They've been losing their past games. They have not been doing that well. Ever since that Ohio State game where they almost won, they've just crashed and burned. So I'll take Nebraska to win this game because they are at home. I think the Sea of Red will help Nebraska out. I think the fans will be there to cheer for the Cornhuskers, and I think Northwestern will just continue to struggle. Next up, we have a rivalry game of North Carolina traveling on the road to NC State. Now, this game is not that significant. Both teams are towards the bottom of their divisions in the ACC. But North Carolina did come off of a win last week against Boston College with a slight upset on their win. And NC State got manhandled by Florida State last week. So this game's kind of easy for me to pick. I'll pick North Carolina traveling on the road because North Carolina looked more impressive than NC State last week. So I'll take the Tar Heels on the road. Next, we have a Big 12 matchup of number 18 Oklahoma State traveling on the road to number 15 Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech came off of a 8-point loss to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State has been making a recovery after their upset against West Virginia earlier in the season. Now, it's kind of hard for me to pick this game, but I'll take Oklahoma State on the road in a slight upset. I don't know, I just think Texas Tech losing that game against Oklahoma is going to kind of downgrade their confidence, and I think Oklahoma State will be able to capitalize on turnovers, and I see Oklahoma State winning in a slight upset on the road. Next, we have another ACC matchup of Pittsburgh traveling on the road to Georgia Tech. This one's a pretty intriguing game in the ACC Coastal. Georgia Tech has been recovering a bit, and Pittsburgh's kind of been doing steady, coasting along through their conference games. But I'll take Georgia Tech at home. They have the triple option, And I think it's going to be a pretty close game, though. I think Georgia Tech will win by a touchdown, maybe 10 points, but I like Georgia Tech at home. Next, we have once again another ACC matchup of Virginia Tech traveling on the road to Boston College. Now, Boston College came off of a loss against North Carolina, and Virginia Tech came off of an upset loss against Duke. Both teams are unranked, and Duke, with that win over Virginia Tech, was pretty surprising around the nation. And I'm not sure how Virginia Tech's going to bounce back, but I will take the Hokies on the road traveling to Boston College, and I'm having Virginia Tech winning this game. I think Virginia Tech will be able to bounce back, but I don't think Boston College will after they lost to North Carolina last week. And now we're at the upset special. My upset special for this week is number 24 Wisconsin traveling on the road to Iowa. Now, I have Iowa winning this because they looked pretty impressive against Ohio State a couple of weeks ago. And Wisconsin, they've still been doing fine. After that Arizona State's blown call, I guess you could say, against Arizona State earlier in the year. But I'll take Iowa because they are at home. I think that's a big key factor. And I don't know. I mean, there's not that many other games to pick for upset specials. This week doesn't have that many marquee games, so it's kind of hard for me to pick one. So the best one I could find was Iowa with a possible upset over Wisconsin. But all that being said, I'll take Iowa upsetting number 24 Wisconsin. And now it is time for the marquee game of the week, where College Game Day will be going to. And since you guys know me, you know I am very excited for this game. And it is number 7 Miami, Florida, traveling on the road to number 3 Florida State. Now, these are the only two teams left undefeated in the ACC conference. Miami has been kind of put in some scary situations. 3 games in a row now they've had to come back in the fourth quarter by double digits. They haven't really been playing well. They didn't play well against North Carolina. They didn't play well last week. And Florida State, they've just been manhandling their opponents easily. They crushed NC State last week. They beat Clemson a couple of weeks ago by a great margin on the road. So Florida State's looking pretty confident. Miami's kind of struggling. But Miami's offense, if they want to have a chance at winning this game, Stephen Morris and Duke Johnson are going to have to carry their offense against Florida State's surprisingly underrated defense. Now on Florida State's side, their offense, it has not been a problem. They've been scoring like at least 40 plus points each game this season. So Jameis Winston, it's going to be a big game for Jameis Winston. I almost think it's going to be bigger than the Clemson game, because this is a rivalry game, like Florida State-Miami. This is the first true rivalry game of the season. Clemson's kind of a rivalry, but it's not as big as Miami. He'll be at home in prime time. I'm anxious to see how he'll perform. But if he performs like he did against Pittsburgh on Labor Day night, and how he performed against traveling on the road to Clemson in that huge game, then I won't have any worries with him. James Wilder Jr. is out with a concussion, so he is not expected to play. But I think Devontae Freeman and Carlos Williams will still be able to carry his load, and I think the running game will still be fine because Miami's running defense is not that great. And of course, Jameis Winston has a plethora of wide receivers to throw to. That won't be an issue. I think the more matchup here is going to be Florida State's defense against Miami's offense. I think whoever wins that battle will have the key of determining who will win this game. But after all this being said, I'll take Florida State at home because I didn't have faith in my own team when they played against Clemson, but they sure proved me wrong. They looked really impressive, and I think they'll look really impressive against Miami this Saturday night. But anyway, guys, that's it for this week's prediction video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below with the games that I predicted, if you agree or disagree, or any other games I didn't have on the list. But that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys for Week 11, where we'll pick 10 more games. See you guys next time.